So what if you could actually start a real, profitable business with just 500 bucks? Well, today, we're diving into serial entrepreneur Chris Koerner's blueprint for doing exactly that. We're talking about businesses you can start with 500, 1,000, or even $5,000. Let's get right into it.
All right, let's just kick things off with a challenge. I want you to picture this. There's a suitcase right in front of you, and inside is $500 in cash. What business would you start? It's a tough question, right? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to have a whole playbook of powerful, practical answers.
But before we even get to the how-to, we have to talk about the foundation. You know, it's a specific mindset that really unlocks every single opportunity we're about to discuss. And honestly, it goes against pretty much everything you've ever been told about starting a business.
And this right here is Koerner's core principle, and it's a little counterintuitive. He says to forget about hunting for some brand new, brilliant idea. His argument is that if a business already exists, hey, someone else has done all the hard work of proving there's a market for it. Your job isn't to innovate from scratch, it's to leapfrog their early mistakes and start where they are today. So this really shows you the mental shift we're talking about. So often we get held back by these fears, right? Oh, the market's too crowded. I need to be totally unique. Or the big one, what if I fail? Well, Koerner flips every single one of those on its head. To him, a crowded market is validation. Being unique is just an ego trap. And failure? That's just part of the numbers game. So here's the crucial part. It is not about finding the perfect idea. Not at all. It's about building what he calls a bias for action muscle. You know, the more you shrink that gap between just having a thought and then taking a tiny, real-world action, the more you learn and the faster you're going to find what actually works.
All right, let's get tactical. We're opening that first suitcase, and I'm going to show you the #1 opportunity you can start with just $500. And surprisingly, it's in one of the most hyped-up industries on the entire planet.
$500. Just let that number sink in for a second. We're not talking about venture capital. We're not talking about massive loans. For the ideas we're about to cover, this is often all you need to get your foot in the door and land your very first paying customer.
Okay, check this out, because here is a massive opportunity. We'll call it the AI trust gap. A full 77% of small business owners know they need to be using AI. But get this, an astonishingly low 5% are actually using it in any meaningful way. They're overwhelmed, they're confused, and they need a human bridge. And that bridge, that can be you.
So how do you become that bridge if you're not a coder? Well, the answer is something called vibe coding. This is a total game changer. It basically means you use natural language. You just type what you want into AI tools like Replit, and it builds websites and apps for you. The technical barrier has been completely, totally erased.
Okay, so how does this turn into a real business? The plan is actually surprisingly simple. First, you spend a couple days learning these vibe coding tools. Second, create a simple, clean brand for yourself. Third, use the rest of your 500 bucks on super targeted ads for local businesses. And fourth, offer a really high-value solution, something like an AI voice agent that can answer their customer calls 24/7.
Now, if AI isn't really your thing, no worries. Here's another idea for that same $500. Drop servicing. It's super simple. You create a slick-looking website for a local service, say garage door repair. You handle all the marketing and the sales, then you subcontract the actual work to a local expert, and you take a nice cut of the profit. You basically become the marketing department for businesses that hate doing marketing.
Okay, time to level up. We're going to double the budget now to $1,000. And this opens up a whole new category of businesses, both physical and digital, that are absolutely thriving in local communities right now.
$1,000. So this next level, this allows you to get into the world of physical assets, or you can use it to acquire that first critical mass of digital users. Let's see what that actually looks like. So, think about this. A hyper-local wedding rental business. With 75% of weddings now happening outdoors, the demand for rentable stuff is just exploding. I'm talking decorative arches, custom photo walls, even those little portable charcuterie carts. You can buy these things for under $1,000 and then rent them out for hundreds of dollars per event over and over again. Or, hey, you could stay digital. And the math on a local email newsletter is just incredibly compelling. You can use that $1,000 for ads to get your first 1,000 subscribers, which comes out to about $1 each. Then, you make money by selling sponsorships to local businesses. You could seriously make your entire investment back in just a couple of months.
All right, now for the final challenge. the $5,000 suitcase. This is where we move beyond just side hustles and start talking about building a real, long-term asset that can generate passive income for years and years to come.
$5,000. Now, the goal here isn't to buy an asset outright. No way. Instead, this money becomes your key. It's the leverage you need to unlock a much, much bigger deal.
And the asset that Koerner really champions is the small RV park. I know, right? But check this out. A small park can cost about the same as a single-family rental home, but is often 3 to 10 times more profitable. Plus, your risk is spread out across a bunch of tenants, not just one.
But wait, how do you buy a $200,000 park with only $5,000? The answer is 2 words: seller financing. This is where the owner of the property basically acts as your bank. You use that $5,000 for things like due diligence and legal fees, and then you pay the owner every month from the park's own profits. Think about that for a second. You're buying the asset with its own cash.
So, we've looked at ideas for $500, $1,000, and $5,000. But the final piece of this whole puzzle isn't about just copying one of these ideas exactly. It's about finding your personal edge.
Koerner says the absolute best business to start is one where you have an unfair advantage. And here's the thing, everybody has one. It might be some unique knowledge you have about a niche hobby. It could be a community you're already a part of, like a running club or a parenting group. It could even be a skill you think is common but other people find really difficult. Your advantage is where what you know meets what the market needs.
So we're going to end with this question. Just forget the spreadsheets and the business plans for a moment. What's that one idea, that one problem you always see, or that one thing you just can't stop thinking about? Because when you combine that obsession with the simple, low-cost tactics we've covered today, that's when a side hustle can become something so much more.